Evening all. How are we all doing? Wednesday. I look very washed out, don't I? Let me just put my blind down because I look like I've just left the planet. Hold on. Any better? A little bit. Little bit. Anyway, let's talk about guilt, shall we? Today's motherfucker of choice is guilt and how it affects us all day, every day. And so to start, hello Ashley. So when I'm thinking about what I was going to talk about tonight, I was thinking, in what ways do I feel guilt? Well, did I used to feel guilt? Or could I apply guilt to if I was in my previous way of thinking? Now, I just give it the finger as soon as it comes. But I thought I'd write a little list. The biggest one I'm pushing away at the moment, and I've mentioned it the last couple of days to people around me, and I don't know if any of you are feeling this too. Hello. If any of you are feeling this too. Is anybody feeling guilty about having to vote? Don't shoot me down. I've watched the suffragettes. I know the journey. I know that I'm privileged to have a vote. I know that as women it is our fucking duty to go and vote. But Kerry Louise, I think, is also in the position where she's just like, I don't even know who to vote for. And I don't know who to vote for. And my instincts are shouting, just don't vote for either of them then, because you can't choose one anyway. Don't vote for either of them. There's only two in the running, right? But then this guilt. How dare you? How dare you not use your vote that women died getting for you? That's been quite a tough one for me the last couple of days. The guilt of not really wanting to vote on these twats who are going to probably make false lies, promises anyway, and just stiff us all. Anyway, so that's one thing on the list. The guilt to actually go and vote tomorrow. The next one, huge one. I don't know if this is in any order of preference for me, but we'll work through the list together. If anybody can relate to this, hello Hayley, hello Grace, you're all very welcome. We're talking about the motherfucker that is guilt tonight. If any of you feel guilt around any of these topics that I'm going to mention now, please hit the little like button, because it would be really interested to see if it's just me who feels... whose instinct is to feel guilt about these topics, and then obviously I'm going to tell you in a minute how you pull it back. So another big one for me is eating. I don't think I overeat, I don't binge eat, but I love food. So I want to be eating constantly, and it doesn't have to be massive amounts, and it doesn't always have to be junk food, although. But I'm always so conscious of eating. And always thinking in my head, when's my next meal coming and what will it be? Anyway, quite guilty of gluttony, I think, for that one. The next one is drinking alcohol. The guilt of pouring a glass of wine. The guilt of pouring another glass of wine. And then another glass of wine. And then another, the guilt attached to drinking of the alcohol, because I know that it's no good. Somebody's saying yes to that, Ashley. She is with me. The guilt in knowing that I shouldn't be doing it, that I'm not setting a good example to my kids, that my liver is fucked, that, well, not quite yet, touch wood, but, probably on its way, that I'm not very sociable because I sort of just shut down and zombie out, that I wake up knackered tomorrow, all the associations with the drinking of the wine. Guilt-laden. Ashley, honey, I drink my leftovers after school. I know you do, you filthy slut. I know you do. Next one, guilt. And these are all things I can change anyway, but it just rises guilt in me, which I do push away. So the next one is not exercising. I really want to, and I really enjoy it when I do it, but I just don't ever motivate myself enough. And then I have this internal battle of, just go for a walk at least, Lauren. Come on, just go for a 10-minute walk. Take the dog out. And I can talk myself out of it. Hi, Leanne. I can talk myself out of it. I can be like, oh no, I just need to do this, and I just need to do that. And then the guilt is like, you haven't been out walking for ages. Da, 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 da. So there we go. So already in my day, I feel guilt for not voting, for eating, for drinking to excess, for not exercising. This is the big winner. Everybody get ready to hit your like buttons if this resonates with you. Guilt in parenting. Wins all the fucking awards, right? It's the biggest one. It's the one that is most fragile. It's the one that rears its head every fucking second minute that you are with your children and without. The guilt's probably higher when you're not with them, because you know what? You fucking should be with them, shouldn't you? So yeah, finding parenting tough, not enjoying every single second of your parenting journey, knowing the struggles of IVF, knowing there are women who would give their right arm to be in your position, and yet still feeling like you hate it at times. Guilt is high on that one. Not having quality time with your partner. You know, when you've given it all to your job, and you've given it all to your friends, and you've given it all to your kids, if you've got kids, and there's just fuck all left really for them at the end of the day, and you feel guilt for that, because they might be having a really tough time at work, or they might be really struggling through life themselves. They might just want to have a bit of a release, or even just, you know, a conversation. But a lot of the time I can't be asked. A lot of the time I'm spent elsewhere, and then I feel bad. So not having the quality time with my partner, with my husband, or your partners. Not having enough sex with your partner. I'm going to whisper, because if he hears me saying sex, he'll think he's on a promise. So, not putting out enough. Not satisfying his every need. And then worrying that if you don't, he's going to go and get it somewhere else. You know, and the connotations that come with that. Hi, Victoria. The guilt of not being, you know, this sex kitten that we're supposed to be. Not being this readily available. You know, guilt with that, right? This is quite a big one for me as well, even though I'm doing my best, and you know, it's something that haunts me, but not donating enough to charity. Does anybody feel guilty about that? Like seeing the disparity in the world, and seeing people dying of hunger, and homeless people, and all this other shit that we see, and then just feeling like you're not doing enough. You're guilty of not having given enough, or you're guilty because you live in a nice house, or you're guilty because you've got food on your table and wine in your glass, although we have a situation. I have no wine in the house, so, you know, that's going to go down well. And another real guilt trip is not being enough for everybody. I'm not giving enough to my friends, I'm not giving enough to my partner, I'm shouting at my kids. I haven't bought any wine at Tesco, you know, all of this stuff, not being enough to everybody, and the guilt that can bring on of feeling like a shitty friend or a shitty partner or blah, 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 blah. And when I was writing my list of all the things that can make me feel guilty, or that my instant reaction is to feel guilty for not having, not doing, blah, blah, blah. I was looking at it and I was thinking, God, none of that's actually really going to benefit me. Like, I can't think how to word it. Basically, I'm looking at everything. Like I said, no voting. I feel guilty for the women that got us the vote. Right? You know, it's guilt. Third party guilt. I'm not explaining it very well. I'm a third party guilt. It's like, none of this is about me, really. This is about me feeling like I am failing everybody else, or everything else, or disappointing everybody else, or not being enough. Dun, dun, dun. And guilt weighs really heavily, and as soon as that guilt comes, it brings all its mates with it, and before you know it, you have a whole party of guilt going on in your head, and they're taking over your brain and making you feel like utter shit on every level. And I used to feel this quite heavily, and parenting still gets me, I won't lie, but I think I'm kind of taming it. But there is a very wise woman in this group called Danny Griffith, and she not only wrote a hypnobirthing program, she in the program, which I learned back in the day, she talks about emotions and why we have certain emotions. Don't worry, Danny, I'm not going to give the whole thing away. But the one that resonated with me is, and I repeat this again and again and again to anybody who feels the guilt, is we have the emotion guilt to prompt us when we are doing something to intentionally hurt another person. It's our trigger to what you're doing. Assess what you're doing. Hi Lisa, hi Ray. Assess what you're doing and ask yourself, should you be doing that? Ta-da! Guilt. It's that easy. But that's the sole purpose of that emotion in us. So thinking on that is what that emotion's for. It's here. It's good. It's good because it keeps us on our moral high ground. You know, it reminds us that there are rules and regulations and we shouldn't step over the mark, and it reminds us that we don't actually want to hurt anybody, we're not out to do that, blah 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 blah. But in modern society, where the pressures are like here and above on us right now, all of the pressures, you have to be thin, you have to be pretty, you have to be intelligent, you have to work, you have to raise a family, you have to keep a clean home, you have to be all and everything for everybody. That's not humanly possible. It's just not humanly possible. So then this guilt starts creeping in. But going back to my whole list, am I intentionally not voting just to fuck off the suffragettes? Is that why I would do it? Is that why I wouldn't vote? Just to stick it to them girls? No. Okay, I'll remove the guilt from that one then, because I'm actually in a real fucked up head dilemma about that. That's not about anything else. Am I intentionally hurting other people by eating when I want to eat? No. I mean, I would be hurting myself if I was like proper gorging and shit, but I'm not hurting anybody else. I shouldn't feel guilty for that. I should just enjoy the food in moderation with a bit of mindfulness throughout. But I shouldn't feel guilty. It shouldn't evoke guilt in me. That's misplaced guilt. Drinking alcohol, I'm not hurting anybody else. I can see the knock-on effects if I became, you know, if I was having a little school drop-off chaser like our friend Ashley here, or if you're having vodka on your cornflakes, you know, we've got an issue there and a situation there, and you know, maybe then you should consider who around you that will affect. Not exercising, that's not hurting anybody else. Me not jumping around to Gillian Michaels every morning, it's not hurting anybody else. So I don't need to feel guilty about that. That's a conscious choice. I don't want to do it. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. Finding parenting tough. When I'm screaming and shouting at my kids because they have taken me to the fucking point where they should be grateful that I'm just screaming and shouting and not actually locking them out of the house or throwing them at the wall. Take that as intended, please. I do not abuse my children. I'm a very gentle parent. But we've all been on the fucking edge. And in fact, someone in this group who I met yesterday for coffee, we were both standing there going, it's on the edge. It's kind of like, I could just tip that tipping point. The kids have taken us there. They've all fucking taken us there. And that's because we're human, first off, and because the pressures of parenting are out of fucking control, parenting on steroids. But have I shouted at them to intentionally hurt them? Or have I shouted at them because that is the only release I can find, bar damaging these children? Some people might say that shouting is damaging children. You know, we all parent on different scales, and I don't think, personally, I do shout at my children when I need to, if it's between that and losing my shit totally. So no, I'm not intentionally out to hurt my children. I've had a natural response to being pushed to the fucking edge when I have nothing left to give, and a 5-year-old coming at me, telling me some shit, you know, you all know the score. No, I'm not intentionally hurting him. Take the guilt away. There's no guilt to be attached by that, by just trying to do your fucking best, but at times finding it hard. No guilt. We're human. We all have tipping points. You know, me not having sex with my husband every night of the week, or once a week, I'm not doing it to intentionally hurt him or to spite him or to piss him off. I'm doing it because I'm fucking knackered. I'm doing it because I'm doing everything else. And, you know, when I get in my bed at 9 o'clock, it's all I can do to watch last episode of First Dates, quite frankly. So, you know, I shouldn't feel guilty that I've made a conscious decision to watch First Dates. That's, sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do, right? Not donating enough to charity. I can't solve all the problems in the world. I can't feed everybody who's hungry in the world. I can't house everybody who's homeless in the world. And as sad as that is, I can only do as much as I do, my bit, with what is available to me, quite frankly. And I do. I really fucking do. I work tirelessly at donating where I can and supporting where I can and helping where I can, which is why 10% of all the profits from This Girl Is Enough go events. There's one in July. Have you got your ticket yet? are going straight to charity. My monthly meetups by me that are run by me and ambassadors around the UK. Any profits left over go directly to charity. Me and Steph have obviously got the sanitary towel, homeless period situation going on. We're donating all of those. I sponsor 2 children in South Africa. You know, it's just like you do what is up at 50p in the poppy box today. You do what is available to you. You can't feel bad about not doing more than that if you don't have the access to do more than that. So I can't feel bad that there's fucking twats out there killing people. I can't do anything. I can't feel guilty for that. I can't. It's nothing I've done intentionally that has set off any of this stuff. So no, I'm going to remove the guilt from that as well. Not being everything for everyone. You know, we have this guilt that I'm not, and I say enough. I must say good enough or enough about 1 million times a day in my role as this girl is enough. But it is. It's such a simple thing. You feel like you're not doing enough for your friends and for your family and for your partners and for your kids and everybody that's around you and your colleagues at work and your bosses and whoever. You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. This lack of enough, unless you are sitting on your ass going, oh, fuck it, I'm not doing it. No, fuck it. I don't want to listen to your bullshit, and I don't want to support your woe is me, my friend, and I don't want to have to put out to you, and I don't want to have to do this, and I don't. You can all fuck off. I'm not interested. You know, if you're like, I'm trying my best to do everything I can for everyone that needs it, then there's no guilt around that because you're doing your best. So you can't take yourself down there. Your best is enough. You are enough. So yeah, I think we've got ourselves all caught up in this really tight spiral of applying guilt as a natural instinct. If we're feeling like we're not doing enough, we load the fucking guilt on, which just makes us feel like we're doing even less than enough. And like I've just demonstrated from my list, often the guilt that we load on ourselves is really ill-placed and not necessary. Absolutely not necessary. So what I really ask you to do over the next coming days is every time you strike yourself down with guilt, I want you to stop in that split second and assess the situation. And if it's where you've had a barney with the kids or a barney with your partner or your friend or whatever, just step back from the situation and look at the situation as a whole and really think about your intention in that situation. And if your intention was to not cause any harm or any hurt or any malice to the recipient or whatever, or not the recipients as donations go, and sex actually, you know, if there's been no ill intention or anything like that, remove the damn guilt. Take the fucking pressure off yourself, you know, because life is hard enough without just dumping guilt everywhere where it's really not meant to be. We just got confused with that emotion, I think, and we're overusing it. And in turn, it's making everything that much harder, that hill that much steeper, that self-worth much lower. All of this stuff, the knock-on effects from loading ourselves over with unnecessary guilt. So please try that. I would love any feedback from any of these videos that I'm doing, either on this post or drop me a little PM or something, because I don't want to feel like I'm just ranting at people. That's a very uncomfortable situation to be in. And I want to know, you know, if you've taken anything from them at all, because it's good to know that my message is being heard on some level at some point. Thank you. So, also very exciting. Got a new person, lovely new lady booked onto the Becoming Enough project today. She's managed to bag herself the discounted price. She just snuck in. The early bird offer goes off on Friday. As of Saturday, it's full price, my friends, which, to be quite honest, it's a fucking priceless course. So there you go. But yeah, another one has joined us. So we are almost halfway sold out to 20 women becoming enough, with the support of me and my gorgeous experts that will be dropping in. It's going to be quite the thing. So there you go. I'm going to leave it with you, please, over the next few days. really take that guilt apart and ask whether it's been misplaced. Have a lovely evening. I'm going to try and talk myself out of going to the shop to buy wine. Guilt free. See you later, beauts. Bye.